Hi everyone, good evening. क्या हाल चाल है सबके? I hope everyone is doing good. So once again, a warm welcome to today's YouTube live. Okay, so I hope everyone's trading and investing journey is going great. Okay, and if my chart of Nifty is again visible, please show a quick yes on the chat box so that I can be assured that my chart is visible and my voice is clearly audible to everyone. Okay. So today the topic is really interesting. Good news or bad news, right? Is the bottom done or is it a topish formation at near 16,200, right? So it's going to be really interesting what we'll discuss, and I'll just give you lot of quick insights about what the markets can do in the next week or in the coming weeks, and of course we'll discuss stocks as well, where the stocks which you should focus on the next week as a swing trade. Okay, so I hope you are liking our lives and you are learning from that, because that's the sole motto, to teach you how to prepare for the next week, what stocks to look into, and how the markets can behave, right? So last week, my of course, I had shared my view that it's a buy on dips market, right? So, and 15,800 is a strong support zone, the level which I had mentioned, below which we'll again be on a sell on rise, or maybe in a bearish markets, right? So markets, of course, came down from the highs, right? But again, it recovered well on the Friday session. It closed near the day's high almost, right? And of course, right now again we are range bound. So as I had mentioned again and again, that markets are not going to be one way this year. It's going to be a topsy turvy ride. Ups and downs would be a part, right? So it's very important for you to understand that markets में one way moves नहीं आने वाले, right? So it's going to be the playing of the range, and even if there's a breakout, it won't be a very big targets, right? So you have to be very careful that you book out your profits at the right time. Okay, so right now markets, as I have told you earlier as well, 16,200 to 16,250 is going to be a really important resistance zone, right? And on the lower side, if we see 15,800 and 15,850, this is going to be a strong support zone, because there's a trend line breakout as well, and it has just retested this breakout and gone up, right? And 15,800 is the negation level for all longs, right? Because जिन्होंने भी, और स्मार्ट मनी ने जिन्होंने भी लॉन्ग किया है, या those who are holding longs, right, they will try to exit them if 15,800 breaks on closing basis, right? Though the data last week was not that great, ठीक है, data उतना अच्छा नहीं था, because FIs have still net shorts and clients are still net longs, right, which is not a good sign, which we'll discuss right now. But uh, the markets kind of still looks in a topsy turvy, right, or sideways for the next week, because it's really important for you to understand that markets are not going to be in a particular trending zone. So it's going to be both ways movement, right? Markets ऊपर भी जाएंगे, नीचे भी जाएंगे. What you have to understand is that आपको range को play out करना है. Okay. So 16,200, 16,250, if the markets goes again maybe next week, that time we have to be very vigilant, see what the price action is. If it breaks that level, then on the higher side I had mentioned that 16,600 is something which is visible, right? And 15,800 जब तक ये closing basis नहीं टूटता है, overall market structure is positive. ठीक है friends, last week आपने देखा होगा, even though Nifty was kind of sideways to downwards, but stock specific action in small and mid caps was really good, right? And even in Nifty also, apart from few because of IT stocks and because of Reliance, last week Nifty was kind of sideways to down, right? But overall the market structure was good, and the stocks which we discussed did really well, be it Bank of Baroda, be it ICICI Bank. So that I'm going to discuss a very important strategy at the end. I'm going to teach you with a stock, right? So stay there till the end, because there are going to be a lot of learnings today. Okay, and I'm going to keep it very fast and crisp, because today we have started a little late, so I don't want you to keep awake till midnight. Yes, so be a little faster, but yes, we're going to see a lot of learnings, right? So Nifty, just see the, if you see the data, which is again really, really important. So in data, continuously FIs have net shorts of more than 1 lakh contracts, which is not a good sign, right? And clients have continuously built longs. Okay. So the upside stays limited in Nifty because of this. Because until unless FIs start covering the shorts, markets are not going to go really high, because FIs are again more than 1 lakh contract short, and they've been shorting last week as well, because we started at 70,000 contracts and they ended at the highest point of 1 lakh 8,000 contracts. And it was quite opposite for the clients. They started with 1 lakh 25,000 and they ended with the highest longs till now, 1 lakh 45,000 contracts. The highest longs till now they are holding. Okay. So of course the data is totally opposite, and that's why on the higher side Nifty is capped, right? But इसका ये मतलब नहीं है कि stocks won't perform. So stock specific action would continue in the markets. So you should always take care that you're there with strong stocks. Okay. So it is very important for you to understand that we are focusing only on strong stocks, and we are trading on them which are comparatively stronger, right? So I'll also show you a few names which are very weak, and they continue to remain weak despite the market uptrend. So you should avoid those stocks, because markets mein it is very important for you to avoid bad things rather than first learning what's looking good. So if you avoid bad things, 50% of your losses goes down, because 90% of the retailers always try to average on the lower side, buy cheap stocks which are like priced lower in single digits or 2 digits, right? So don't have that mentality. Okay. So Nifty's view is clear. Upside on the higher side is capped because FIs are still short, right? And on the downside also the range is fixed because a breakout is there. So it would be difficult for the markets to break 15,800. It won't be that easy on closing basis to break that, right? And of course, last day we saw a good recovery in the global markets as well. Okay. And the main part which I mentioned that it's good news or bad news was on the inflation side. So everyone would have seen that the inflation data had come the worst in the last 41 years, and despite that Dow Jones recovered well on that day. Of course there was 2 back-to-back gap downs, but they were not major sell-offs. The sell-off came and the markets then recovered, and last day there was a good up move because one of the few members of Fed told that the inflation is peaking out. तो फ्रेंड्स इसमें बहुत बड़ा learning है that bad news is not always bad news in the markets. Current bad news, you have to see whether it's discounted by the markets or not, right? So जो inflation है, जो अभी bad inflation data आया जिसके वजह से we saw so many rate hikes by Fed, RBI, has already been discounted in the price, right? So it is very important for us to understand that price has already corrected from the highs, and जो inflation का main reason था commodity prices. So there was a mismatch in demand and supply. Okay, commodity prices were going up abruptly, and all commodities have corrected more than 30 to 50%. Be it nickel, be it copper, be it crude oil, be it any other commodity. So it is very important for us to understand the future data of inflation won't be that bad, which we are seeing right now. Okay, and the markets are always forward looking. Markets do not work on the present. Friends, ये बहुत important चीज़ है समझना. 90% of retailers don't understand this. कि markets do not work in present. आज के हिसाब से market नहीं चलता. Markets are always 5 to 6 months ahead. कि 6 महीने बाद क्या होगा? That is discounted the markets right now. So despite this bad data, or bad news, I would say, for the markets, that the core CPI data of US was really bad, still we saw a great recovery because that was kind of discounted by the markets. Okay. So be it Nifty, be it Bank Nifty, of course, due to the still big short positions by FIs and so many big longs by the retailers, the upside is capped. But again, on the downside, we have strong supports on the breakout. So again, it would be, I'm expecting a range bound week with a bullish stance next week also, right? So friends, I would also like to hear your views. What do you feel should happen next week? Because again, both are contradictory. The data is negative, but the charts are positive, right? So according to you, what should we do? So I want to hear your views also, because that helps me to engage or understand what's your thinking also. So what according to you should we do next week for Nifty and Bank Nifty? Okay, what's your strategy? Should you'd be selling the rises, or you will wait for a clear direction, or maybe you'll be buying the dips? So what's your strategy for the next week? Because I've already shared mine, that you should play the range. On the higher side of the range, you should book your profits, and on the lower side, once you get good opportunities, again buy the stock. And that's why I've covered two stocks of last week only, because I'll just show you how you can just trade the range and beautifully exit, and then again make a re-entry, because that was done by us last week also, right? So I would like to hear your views. Okay, Prashant is telling some pullback is possible, okay, which I'm also expecting. So that pullback will be there, but again, on the higher side, it would be a sell off, right? So again, friends, आपको लग रहा होगा कि मैं कोई clear view नहीं दे रहा हूँ, because again the view is not 100% clear, because there's a divergence. The charts are good, but the data is negative. So you have to be kind of you should have a trading mindset in this market, because it's a pure trading market. You're not going to get one way moves कि आपको एक stock यहाँ पे buy किया and you're just holding it for 10, 15, 20% move. That would be rarely visible. Of course, that's possible, right? That would be rarely visible. Okay. So Akshat is telling if 16,250 breaks, then we may head towards 16,500, 700. Mid cap is strong. Yes, very good. If 1650 250 we break on closing, then of course we can see a 400 500 points rally. And the mid cap index, yes, it looks much stronger compared to alts, because mid cap index has closed near the highest point of the week. So last week there was a good green candle back to back by the mid cap index. The mid cap index was the strongest, right? And मैंने बताया भी था कि above this level of 26,800 we'll see a good rally in the mid cap index, at least till 28,600. So I'm expecting this rally to continue for another 2%. But ये level again would be a big tester for the mid cap index, 28,600, because there was a gap resistance and there was a big negative Marubozu candle. तो फ्रेंड्स, आपको ये चीज़ समझना बहुत ज़रूरी है कि मार्केट्स हैव देयर मेमोरीज, राइट? प्राइस हैज़ दैट मेमोरीज. तो प्राइस का मेमोरी यहाँ पे उसको ज़रूर याद दिलाएगा देयर इज अ बिग सेलर हु इज़ अवेटिंग टू सेल, राइट? बिकॉज यू कैन सी विद दिस कैंडल दिस बिग मारेबुजो, जहाँ पे मैंने एक बहुत कॉशियस नेगेटिव कॉल दिया था इन द लाइव. आई होप एवरीवन रिमेंबर्स दैट, एंड वी सॉ अ वेरी गुड फॉल आफ्टर दैट. I hope I was able to save your money, because my motive is here to guide you to in the right way, to give the right knowledge. And of course markets में सही गलत सब होते हैं, but I want to share a true view with you all so that you can benefit out of that. Okay. So Paras is telling HDFC Bank results will play a role in Bank Nifty. Yes, HDFC Bank results will play a role, but I think they are more kind of inline numbers, so I don't think so there'll be much action. So let's see what happens. Dharam is telling I feel it's a trap and markets can give big fall. Okay, as we are near Fed meeting, 1% rate hike can lead to a big fall. Yes, Dharam, 1% rate hike would be a big thing, because that was never kind of happened in the history, I think. But let's see what happens. But yeah, 50 to 70 basis points is already expected by the markets. That's really true. So I'm happy to see so many views by you all, because it helps me to understand what the whole markets are thinking about. Okay. So perfect then. So let's go to the mid and small cap index. I hope the view on Nifty and Bank Nifty is clear. Bank Nifty, the range is 35,500. Okay. On the higher side, we are seeing a resistance 35,300 to 35,500. And on the lower side, 34,400 is a small support, and below that 33,800, which is the negation level. 33,800 के नीचे will go much more lower. Okay, so this is the level we have to watch out for on closing basis. 33,800 on Bank Nifty and 15,800 on Nifty. Okay, small cap and mid cap index are good. Okay, small cap index is also sustaining about 8,600, which is a good sign. So you can see on the higher side, this gap fill up of 9,000 can happen, and above that 9,400 is also a strong resistance level. Okay, So small and mid caps index can head higher. Okay, of course the earning season is starting, has already started. Many of the companies have started reporting earnings. So let's see how the earning season goes on, because that will also discount how the markets are going to go. Because ultimately it's all about earnings. If the earnings don't come, then prices of course don't follow the earnings at the end. Okay, and वो आपको price action में दिख जाता है. So that's how technicals are beautiful. You can see it in the price action way earlier. Okay, friends, I am very happy to share that my target of USD INR is exactly achieved. मैंने अपने फर्स्ट लाइव सेशन से बोला था कि $80 आई एम 80 rupees per dollar I'm seeing, right? And the exact high was 80 point I think 15 or 10, and then the USD has started giving a pullback, which is good, because if we sustain above 80 for a long time, then it won't be good for our markets, right? Because the more our currency depreciates, the more our the deficits of the government, that's the fiscal and monetary deficits go higher, and it's overall not good for the economy. So yes, I think RBI has controlled it really well, because the other currencies have depreciated a lot. You would have seen that €1 was $1 after 20 years, right? So again, of course, though we have also depreciated, but it's fine. Like it's in control. Okay, so this was about USD INR. Okay, and Dow Jones and Nasdaq. Okay, so Dow Jones, though it gave a very bullish closing, but 31,500 still is a very strong resistance. Multiple resistance are there at these levels. So until unless we close above it, again it's range bound. On the lower side, closing basis, we have 30,400 as a strong support, right? And the higher side 31,500. So the 1,000 point range is going on in Dow Jones as well. Okay. But yeah, last this candle is really positive. It's a positive bullish Marubozu candle. Okay, and candle looks really good. Okay, so if anyone wants to join the basic technicals or learn the basic technicals, our new course is just starting in 2 weeks of time. So we have limited slots. So you can go on our app and you can even go for the recorded version or the live version, right? So that you can learn technicals from basics. Okay, which is our forte, where we teach you from quite basics in a very practical manner. Okay, so Dow Jones and Nasdaq. Okay, the Nasdaq also is again range bound. Okay, following a range, right? But again, once this range gets broken, be it on Nifty or in any foreign index, the move is going to be really sharp. Okay, so let's see which side the range gets broken. Okay, so this was all about the indices part. Now we're come to the stocks, and there's a big learning on the stock part. Okay, so be stay tuned for that. Okay, and last I'll take few questions also for you all. Okay, because market क्या लगता है के बाद questions answers are also really important. So अभी तक जो भी questions, कोई भी doubts on indexes you have, you can ask in the chat box. I would be happy to answer. Okay, so ICICI Bank, Bank of Baroda, and Poonawalla. These are the three stocks which I've picked. Okay, before I start, a disclaimer from my side, as I give it in every webinar, all the stocks discussed in the webinar are purely for educational purpose, also with the views. These are not recommendations. Please consult your financial advisor, and we are not responsible for your action. Okay, this is purely for educational purpose. Friends, again, the motto is here to share the right education, the right knowledge, and it's purely for education purpose, right? So why I've chosen all these stocks is all the three stocks have retested its breakout. Okay, so friends, आपको ये चीज समझना बहुत जरूरी है कि it's not necessary you should buy a stock on breakout, right? Because breakouts with the risk reward don't have a very good risk reward, as in the reward is the targets you are expecting, and the risk is the stop loss. Okay, so basically the risk reward ratio is the best once the stock is at the breakout retest. So ICICI Bank, we had talked about last week, it gave a good move from 740 to 770, and again it faced a resistance over here because there was multiple resistances zone over here. Okay, and it fell from there and it retested the breakout, and of course kind of formed a doji candle last day, indecisive candle. Okay, So once ICICI Bank crosses last day's high, I think this would be a very bullish sign, and we can even cross these highs of 770, right? So ICICI Bank looks really bullish, but it should cross last day's high, because that would be a very crucial level. Last 2 days ka highs is almost same, 758. So once it crosses 758, it would be a good breakout, okay, fresh breakout, and these are the best breakouts to buy. He just breakout okay, the late buyers got trapped. It went down from 770 to 745, covered almost this gap, and it recovered last day well. So once it crosses last day's high, I think it should do really well, because overall the trend is strong. It has broken the previous swing high. Okay, so it's a very strong trend. Plus, it's one of the strongest banks in Bank Nifty. So you would have seen it's not discounted. Like it's one of the strongest in terms of all the banks. Okay. The second one which I've picked is Bank of Baroda. So Bank of Baroda again, it gave a breakout. We had discussed this 102 के ऊपर 102 103 के ऊपर एक breakout था. It was a strong you can say a inverted head and shoulder breakout. Okay, and the stock went up, okay, almost 111 tak. Then again late buyers got trapped and has retested the breakout. Okay, so overall these two stocks looks bullish on the charts. Okay, and I hope so this is something which you have to learn is you cannot just buy a trade and hold it. Like last day मुझे एक जन ने पूछा, sir, I had bought 105 106 I had bought with my own studies and I'm still holding. I did not book any profits. So I suggested them that this is not a market where you can hold for very higher gains unless you are investing for long term, right? So it's a trading market. You have to book 5-6% gains and again maybe buy lower, maybe 10% gains and again buy lower. Because if you feel that no, this will be a one-way move, it's not like I think it may happen with very few stocks. So some of them we have discussed also, like a power industries, but they are exceptions, because this year the markets are going to be a topsy-turvy. It's not to be a one-way ride, as I've told hundreds of times, right? So you should have that habit to book profits and again wait. कोई बात नहीं, अगर आपने प्रॉफिट बुक किया और वहां से वो और बढ़ गया, there is no hurries. Like you have booked a decent profit, right? So this is the mindset you should have, because again if you don't change your mindset and your strategy with the markets, friends, it's going to be really difficult. मैं आपको ये बता सकता हूँ कि you have to be very dynamic. This market is not that you should be static and you're just following one strategy and you're continuously following that. No. आप अगर वैसा करोगे, you will get stuck. Okay? So how many of you agree with this? That you have to be dynamic with the markets. Because अगर आप dynamic नहीं होगे, dynamic का मतलब आप हट के आप हर बार नहीं सोचोगे, अपनी strategy को नहीं बदलोगे. If you don't change your strategy, and it's going to be really difficult, especially in such sideways or kind of volatile markets, right? So how many of you agree with this and how many of you think no, कि पूरा trend को ride करना चाहिए, बार बार trade करना doesn't suit you? So I would like to understand how the house thinks, because it's important for me to understand, because again previous year I was of that view that we should ride the trends, the big trends, but this year of course when the overall trend is sideways, volatile to negative, then it's better you should kind of more find swing trades of 5-6% and then maybe again wait for the retest levels. So same happened in Bank of Baroda, again retested, good to buy around these 102 103 levels. Okay, or any reversal on the hourly chart. So friends, daily में अगर breakout and the hourly charts में कोई reversal आता है, so it's also a very positive sign. Like if you see the retest, see there's an inverted head and shoulder breakout, right? The target is almost I think achieved on the hourly charts. 112 1112 was the target, right? But again the retest would be a good buy. Okay, and one of the best pickings which I would see in the daily charts in terms of cash stocks is Poonawalla, because again the chart structure is really positive. Okay, again a disclaimer, this is purely for educational purpose, this is not a recommendation, just for understanding, right? So Poonawalla, I'll just make you understand the psychology, right? So the stock gave a breakout of this previous lower high over here, right? The previous lower high was almost over here. Okay, and the stock gave a breakout. Okay, this was the previous lower high. On this day, the stock gave the breakout, right? With very good volumes. Last 2-3 months ka highest volumes happened on this day, right? So once the stock broke the lower high, okay, and the stock was strong, went up, went up, went up, went up, then again late buyers got trapped and the stock retested the breakout. ठीक है, and friends इसमें बहुत important समझना RSI को भी. So if you see the strength in the stock, the RSI also gave a breakout, a trend line breakout if you see. Okay, friends, ये सब पढ़ाने के लिए लोग लाखों रुपए चार्ज कर रहे हैं in the markets, to be honest, right? And I'm going to teach you, I'm teaching this you for free, right? What in fact in my paid courses also I teach this, right? Because again the main motive is not to teach you half-hearted, to teach you fully so that you can apply it in many other stocks, right? तो अगर आपको पसंद आ रहा है प्लीज़ लाइक करें, शेयर करें and subscribe our channel so that it grows to more people and more people get benefited out of this, right? So the RSI giving a breakout and retesting the breakout, so this is a very bullish sign, right? Plus at the breakout retest level, जहाँ पे breakout हुआ था उसको retest किया and we see a bullish structure, kind of a hammer candlestick and a bullish engulfing together, right? And this is a very bullish structure negating the bears. Okay, so again these kind of trades are kind of very high conviction trades. Even we can keep a stop loss of last day's low and we can take a very good bullish trade because the way stock is reversed, this is a very bullish sign on the stock, right? So ये सब जो trades है, this is the logic which I want you all to understand, that it's not necessary on such in such kind of markets you have to buy on breakouts. You will get a lot of opportunities on retest also, right? Or even if you're breaking or buying on breakouts, you can even allocate lesser, so that once the stock retests the breakout, you don't panic. In fact, you add over there, because जो ऊपर में high allocation पे buy करेंगे, they will panic over here because stock is down 5-7% in the last 4 days with less volumes, just to make the late buyers exit, and again then a bullish structure appears, right? So friends, the psychology आपको बहुत समझना ज़रूरी है, what's going on in the market, and accordingly you have to act, because if you're not dynamic, if you're not acting as per the markets, then it's going to be really difficult, right? So these were the stocks which I wanted to discuss. Okay, I hope I made the learning clear, the psychology clear, right? And now I would take not much, 3 to 4 stock specific questions, because we are already 5 past 11, right? So I don't want to keep you awake much later because it's a Sunday evening, and I'm very happy that still I think a good number of audience is also there in the live. So thank you so much for still being there, for showing the love, and please share all these with your friends also. This video will be live there on our channel so that more and more people can get benefited, okay? And also try and change your psychology, your mindset as per the markets. अगर आपको दिख रहे markets are not that bullish and our markets are kind of sideways this year, don't try to hold stocks for so many big trades, right? Try to kind of exit stocks on good rallies and then again wait for the retest, so that it's kind of clear to you that yes, the stock which you are trying to trade gives you good returns, rather than you first having the stock in positive or in profits, then again kind of exiting the stock in panic, in loss, right? So that's not good. Okay, so Divya is telling keep stop loss at last day low. Now we can go bullish in ICICI till 780. Yes, very good. This can be a good strategy. Dharam is asking sell puts also bullish strategy. So FIs can be bullish, also use this strategy. How to identify FI trades, staying stock which you had shown. So for puts and calls, there's a different data which comes, right? So for that I think you have to see other softwares, but the main data is in the index future. Yes, FIs, I think as far as I've seen the data, they are net short on puts also. It means they are in put buys, right? So overall that data is also negative, right? So again, Dharam, so the overall data for FIs does not look that good. So that's why I'm not telling the upside is won't be there, because clients are stronger now. जो पहले के clients जो इतने जो FI से kind of they were much more not superior. Now they're coming try to be equal, because even after such shorting by FIs, the markets are not down. So this shows that the clients are also little bit becoming dominant, but still FIs are like having much more bigger capital. Okay. So next, I think Travel is asking about your view on Adani Power. Okay. So Adani Power, yes, the Adani stocks are in favor. I think few of them have hit an all-time high, and Adani Power, the chart structure is also bullish. It has like kind of crossed the strong resistance levels of 275, right? And in fact, again, the breakout retest has happened, right? So this is a good sign again, right? Because अडानी पावर हो चाहे बाकी के अडानी स्टॉक्स हो, आई थिंक अडानी गैस or maybe Adani Enterprises have hit an all-time high. So friends, this is also important thing to understand. If the peer companies are hitting an all-time high, means the overall maybe kind of the the overall companies, group companies can do well, because if so many of them, despite in such markets where there so many stocks are far away from the all-time highs, right? Uh, the overall, I think that the sector or the particular group company should do it, because I think three of the group companies have already hit a all-time high. Okay. So next, I'll just take two more questions. So Rashid is asking about Chambal fertilizer. Okay. So Chambal fertilizer. Okay. So after a good downtrend rally, the stock is kind of recovering, but facing a strong resistance, I think at 305 to 307. So until unless it crosses 305 on closing basis, it would be difficult for it to continue the rally, right? Because 305 seems to have very strong resistance. Okay. And in fact, since these are kind of weak stocks, I would say, because despite the good market recovery, these are not recovering much, right? So you should be very careful in these exits, because once these stocks you don't exit, because the trend is weak now, the stock is making lower highs and lower lows, right? So until I think it crosses 325, you should not take a bullish trade positionally. For short term, yes, 305 seems a strong resistance. Above it, we can go about till 325. Okay. So last question I will take before, and after that I'll share another learning before we end the YouTube live. Okay. So Tata Power, I think Taram is asking. Okay. So Tata Power, again, the chart structure kind of is showing a reversal signs, because the negativity or the fall which was there, right, has been negated with this trend line breakout. Okay, and the stock is slowly and steadily moving to on the higher side, which is a good sign, right? When the once a stock moves slowly and steadily, making higher and higher lows, this is a good positive structure. On the weekly charts, I think it has had a very strong support zone at 200, sorry, around 200 levels, which it maintained. It made a bullish hammer candlestick pattern, and then from there it's moving up, right? So that's on a positive note. Okay. So until it's sustaining above the last week lows, that is 218, it's bullish. Okay. 218 if breaks, then that is the level you should exit the stock. Okay. So thank you so much everyone for asking those questions, and I hope I was able to answer. The rest questions you can WhatsApp us on a WhatsApp Krell's number, and we'll be happy to answer them. Okay. So the now one learning I would say to give you all is, again I have given this learning again and again, but still I want to share this, is avoid stocks which are weak and which are making new lows, right? Stocks like maybe like Indiabulls Housing, right? So again, they are very weak stocks, despite the market recovery is not recovering, sustaining near 52-week lows, right? So kind of we should you can have trading rallies from here, but overall structure is very weak. So try and avoid these stocks and don't average it. सबसे बड़ी गलती लोग करते हैं इसको एवरेज करके. The stock is currently almost at all time lows, right? Near all time lows, right? So it's better, जब तक कोई strong reversal on the weekly charts don't come, try and avoid these kind of stocks, because usually retailers try and average कि हाँ चलो ये बढ़ा नहीं है, markets बढ़ने पे तो अभी चलो ये बढ़ना चाहिए या यहाँ से रिवर्सल आना चाहिए और कितना गिरेगा, तो इट्स अ रॉन्ग कॉन्सेप्ट. In fact, if the market is recovering and the stock is not, then you should be vigilant. इसमें कुछ खराबी है कि why it's not recovering. Okay, so it's very important for you to try to avoid such kind of stocks. Okay, so with this, I we come to the end of today's live. I hope I was able to add value, share a lot of knowledge. And for next week, the view is very clear as I shared. It's a range bound market. Play the range until unless the range gets broken out, right? Which side it breaks, it would be interesting to see. Okay, but overall the divergence is there on the data and on the charts. So let's see who wins. Okay, and thank you so much everyone for those kind words and the feedbacks which we get. Okay, and please try to share this lives with a lot of people so that I like this knowledge which we share go to more and more people. Okay, so thank you so much everyone for joining and staying till the end. I hope I was able to add value. Have a great trading and investing week ahead, and we'll need next week, of course. Some surprises are going to come with the coming weeks. We're coming up with a lot of new concepts, new lives. So stay tuned. A lot of knowledge is going to be shared with us. Do be a part of the knowledge groups where we're going to update everything, and much more is coming. So we are really excited, and keep learning, keep sharing, and I'll see you next week very soon with a lot of learnings, and have a great trading and investing week ahead. So I Yash Dugar, I sign off today. Good night, take care, and we'll meet next week. Bye bye.